Hello, 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 and welcome to, You're Doing It Wrong. I'm Nicolette Amarillas, and today we're going over the beloved Bulgarian Split Squat. Okay, yeah, I know this exercise tends to be very uncomfortable, and I've somehow gained the reputation of loving this exercise, and I'd like to point out that I don't love the exercise, I love the results, baby, okay? This exercise is really challenging, which is why we're going over form and technique for it. We're gonna go over the feet placement as it relates to your bench or your platform, how it should feel, talking about the hips and the torso, and how that all ties together to create the best Bulgarian split squat that you've ever seen in your entire life. And that way you can feel it too, baby. All right, let's get into it. So first of all, the bench, the platform. It should be somewhere underneath your knee, along your calf. I would say this is on the higher end. Anything below this is great, but above the ankle. That way you can get into a comfortable Bulgarian split squat. If it's too high, it's gonna have too much stretch on the hip and the hip flexors and the quads. So I like to start the movement by taking a big step in front of my platform and reach my leg back. So I like to start from a standing position. Now, it should feel like you have to kind of reach the leg back. If you're not reaching it back, you're too close, okay? So it should feel like you've got to reach the leg back a little bit. Now I'm thinking train tracks, not tightrope. So we're not here, we're here. Hip distance so that we can feel the engagement and we can stay balanced and stable, okay? All right, train tracks, reaching the leg back. Now as I reach my leg back, I want to get to a point where my ankle is basically wrapping around the edge of the platform. That's going to give me a lot of stability and strength. That way I can feel strong with the front leg. Now as I come down, I'm aiming the back knee toward the floor, and this knee should come behind my hip just slightly as I'm down at the bottom. These hips should tuck in, so front hip bones coming toward your rib cage. If you find that it's impossible to not be here, it might mean that you've actually taken too long of a step forward. So watch this. When I'm too far forward and then I drop down, I'm getting such a deep stretch through my quad and my hip flexor that it's impossible for me to get upright. I have to stay forward in order to not feel too much of a stretch or not be limited by that range of motion. So make sure that you're far enough back that you can be upright with your torso, okay? So my knee comes down, my knee slides behind me slightly, tucking in my hips, front hip bones toward my rib cage, torso upright. Now you can have a slight lean forward, that's okay, but you are as upright as you can be. From here, pressing through the heels, squeezing the glute of the front leg. Now I'm gonna switch sides so I can show you the position of this front leg. So I'm in the same position, reaching back, train tracks, ankle wraps around the bench, back knee slightly behind my hips, tucking in my hips, feeling a deep quad stretch of that back leg, core drawn in. Now from here, think about the knee being over the ankle. Now it can be in front of the ankle a little bit. I would say not too far over the toe though. So keep it in between like the toe and the ankle for that, for this front knee. As far as the hips go, make sure that as you drop down, you're not thinking about like swooping the hips back and swooping the hips forward, okay? Try and think about dropping straight down, vertical, and then powering yourself straight up. If it's uncomfortable for your back foot to be here, sometimes you can get a little like Charlie horse or a tight muscle in the foot. You can also curl your toes. I personally like to have my foot flat because if I curl my toes, I can feel more of my quad in this back leg helping me, so I like to have the top foot here. Now, make sure that as you're getting into this position, the front heel stays drilled into the floor. That is your power center. Think like you're on roller skates and you're like, and you're trying to like stop, or would that be rollerblades? Rollerblades. So you're drilling your heel into the floor, okay? Heel drives into the floor, and then the knee is going to point in the same direction as your second toe the entire time. So it's not gonna fall in as you stand or fall in as you drop down, right? It's gonna stay forward over that second toe as you stand and as you come up. I know this exercise can be challenging, my friends, but you find that even with these cues, you're just really not getting it down, it's still really uncomfortable, that's okay. Take it a step back. Master the split squat, one where both of your feet are grounded on the floor. The Bulgarian split squat is going to be a progression of the split squat. So master your split squat first, and then move on to this big bad boy here. That was Bulgarian split squat, and this is, you're doing it wrong. I'm Nicolette Amarillas. Until next time, bye-bye.